What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Luscious Living podcast. I am here to chat with you all about how to tell if you have hormonal acne and what to do about it. This is a conversation that comes up on one-on-ones frequently. It is something that is very confidence-taking. I have struggled with acne since I was a kid. I don't have it anymore. I do have a little bit right now, and I want to make a reel on Instagram on how your acne is not because you are touching your face too often, because I touch my face all the time. It's not from a dirty pillow. That's not the number one reason why you're getting acne. It's due to lifestyle and diet and your organ system, your internal health. Again, I repeat, your acne is not from touching your face too much or your pillow or your phone. That's likely not the case. It is from the health of your internal system. And I'm here to talk to you all about what to do about it, the foods to eat, the foods that are going to trigger the acne, and you are in the right place if you are looking for glowing, radiant skin. Now, this is a topic near and dear to my heart because I used to be the girl that would scrub her face with anything I could find on the market because I thought my face was dirty. That's kind of the conception that we have when we have acne. I, as a preteen, invested. It was like this popular. It was in the mall in like those cart, and oh yes, that's the name Proactive. I was just thinking of the name of it. This fancy 3-step skincare routine, and I was confident that this is going to help me. I saw the marketing and the ads, and I still struggled with acne. I had acne on my forehead, all over my forehead, all these bumps. They were never cystic, but they had bumps. I had bumps all the time. And everyone kept telling me it was because of the sun. I was in the sun too much. And I realized years later on it was actually due to food sensitivity. And so how to tell if your acne is hormonal or not is exactly what I want to talk to you about. And by the way, if you're new here, my name is Selin. I am a holistic nutritionist and the author of the Painless Period Guide. Well, I fixed my hair, there we go. Author of the Painless Period Guide. I have a private practice here in Calgary, Alberta, but I also see virtual clients everywhere from Spain to Australia to the US. And I'm here to talk to you about what to do about your acne because it really, again, matters how we perceive ourselves, how others perceive us. Now, going straight into things. How can you tell if your acne is hormonal? You can tell based on where your acne is located, okay? And again, if there's dermatologists listening out there, doctor listening out there, you're probably going to disagree, but you also get paid a lot of money when people use the products instead of food, okay? And again, there is a time and place to see a dermatologist, absolutely, but I am very much about looking at skin and health from the inside out and taking medication as a last alternative. And I have helped many women with their acne as well, okay? So when it comes to your jawline acne and your chin, that's when it's going to actually be more hormonal than anything else. If we start to notice acne along the forehead, that is typically due to food sensitivities. Sometimes when it's around the cheeks, that can be the lungs or something else that's actually happening as well. And I'm not talking about eczema or psoriasis, but those are internal conditions as well. Okay, so psoriasis and insulin resistance, for example, or blood sugar are intricately linked. And I would love for you to reach out to me. I'd love to work with you if you struggle with psoriasis or eczema and be able to help you with that as well. We're talking more about pimples, cysts, things like this. So now, when we have acne along the jawline, again, that's going to be hormonal. And it's typically going to, so I'm just looking over my notes here. So I have 3 simple steps for you to also understand the foods to be eating, what you need to be looking at, and how to avoid some of those triggers when you come across them. So food sensitivities, forehead, that can be wheat. That's what it was for me. And still to this day, as soon as I eat wheat or bread, something with gluten, consecutively, I will get acne. in North America. Actually, in the US, I can't really eat any wheat products at all. In Canada, I can, but then I will get acne. And then when I was in Italy, I ate all of the gluten. I didn't get any acne, but it did slow down my bowel movements. Just saying, you're on a health podcast, okay? So now, when it comes to what you can do about the acne on your chin and jawline, I want you to focus on your liver health. This is absolutely vital. So the foods that I want you to eat for your liver, and actually let me even backtrack, the liver is going to be responsible for what shows up on your face. Even so-called sunspots or age spots, liver as well. And so and again, I'm coming from a Chinese medicine perspective, but also results from my clients, okay? And so when it comes to cystic acne, I'd like to address that first. Cystic acne comes from high levels of testosterone in females. So typically we'll see this in PCOS. And a lot of women end up going on birth control because of cystic acne. Now, cystic acne, again, links with testosterone levels. And when we have too much. Now, what triggers that high level of testosterone in women? That is going to be blood sugar. So it means that your blood sugar is too high, and that usually comes from eating too much sugar, too much carbohydrates, and not enough protein, not enough fiber. Okay, so if you have cystic acne, I want you to look at how much sugar you're eating and really have a plan. And not to say don't eat the sugar anymore, because I'm not going to sit here and tell you I don't eat ice cream and cookies and candy from time to time. I definitely do, and I love that stuff. But it's looking on a day-to-day basis. Are you having strong sugar cravings? Are you having difficulty releasing weight? Do you have cystic acne? These are all things I want you to pay attention to because it's not random. Now, and also start to reduce that sugar intake, increase your protein and fiber intake, and your protein intake and needs are going to require based off of your goals, your body weight, desired body weight, etc. So that's cystic acne, and that's just one quick tip there. But if you're starting to get like pimples and whiteheads along the jawline, I want you to focus on liver health. This is key. So the best foods for your liver are always going to be cruciferous vegetables. These are the broccolis, the cauliflower, the kale, the rutabaga, the bok choy, cabbage, these kinds of foods. Spinach is not a cruciferous vegetable. I get asked this all of the time. It's a really good question. It doesn't count as a cruciferous vegetable. So this is actually going to be really important to eat at least 3 times a week. And what I like to do is keep these foods in the freezer. You will always find at least frozen cauliflower, frozen broccoli, anything like that, always in the freezer. It's a staple. And I just pull it out when we're having salmon or chicken or pasta, like whatever it is. I make it easy. And I want this to be easy for you as well. So cruciferous vegetables. Then I also want you to have lots of dark leafy green vegetables as well. This could be spinach here. This could be watercress. This could be kale, this could be mustard greens, it's not really as common, dandelion greens, which is by the way, dandelion is incredible for the liver. So a tea that you can also drink is a dandelion root and leaf together. That's a fantastic option. You can also sometimes buy dandelion greens as well. Okay, so we have dark leafy greens. The other one is to have citrus fruit, especially grapefruit is fantastic for liver health, and it's going to clean up your chin acne. So this could also be having grapefruit on a salad, grapefruit as a snack. I want you to have grapefruit really if you can, 2 to 3 times a week. That also includes other citrus fruit like lemons. So if you can have lemon in your salad dressing, lemon in your water, great way to get it in. Lemon is also going to help with digestion. Limes are also fantastic. Oranges are not going to be as needle moving in this case. If you are really struggling with acne here, I highly recommend grapefruit. Then the other big thing is to have more water intake. This is also really important for when we see the acne on the chin. A lot of the time, acne on the chin is going to be related to the bowel movements, okay, and digestion. So Water is going to be key for your liver health and detoxification, but also bowel movements. And we're going to get to the chin acne in a moment here. Other foods for the liver are going to be beets, great for gallbladder health, which is great for hormones. Goji berries, which are a beautiful red, squishy, almost, if you haven't had a goji berry before, I highly recommend you pick them up. It's a little berry, okay? It's dried berries. They are from China and Chinese medicine. They are fantastic, great for clear eyes as well. Black coffee, and those would be some really, really easily accessible foods I want you to think about. Big thing is those cruciferous vegetables, dark leafy greens, really, really important. Turmeric, garlic, they're also fantastic for the liver, okay? The other aspect of this I'd like for you to focus on is going to be bowel movements. Bowel movements are going to be really important for that chin acne especially. Those who are having a lot of nuts, a lot of nut butters, a lot of soy products and tofu, tempeh, these are going to make your bowel sticky and sluggish. If you have a lot of deep fried foods as well, you're going to have sticky bowel movements. And if you are not moving bowels properly daily, as well as well-formed bowel movements, you are actually recycling estrogen back into your body when you should be detoxifying it through your liver and through your bowel movements. And so you end up having more estrogen than you need in the body, and that's when we start to see acne along the jawline, and you'll also start to just see it show up in the chin, okay? And you could be doing all the scrubs, you could be changing your pillowcases, you could be avoiding touching your face, but you will still have acne on your chin and jawline, okay? So for adequate bowel movements, what you need to do is you need to be having enough water. This is plain and simple. Water during the day, if you find that you're just peeing it out right away, I want you to add a pinch of Celtic sea salt to your water. Not Himalayan, not the other like iodized table salt, and I do not recommend that at all, but a good quality Celtic sea salt. Add a pinch to your water. Okay, it'll help you absorb your water better. Then I want you to also make sure, also by the way, pop does not count as water intake. Green tea does not count as water intake. Gatorade does not count as water intake. Water intake will come from, say, an orange, cucumber, tomato, whole foods like this, and just straight up water or herbal tea. So that dandelion root, for example, note that it is a diuretic, so it will actually make you go to the washroom. But any herbal tea, anything that does not contain caffeine, will actually be fantastic for hydrating you, okay? So we have water intake. And by the way, if you're drinking coffee like me, I want you to make sure that you replenish the water. So let's say you have a cup of coffee, I want you to have a cup or two of let me backtrack. If you have a cup of coffee, I want you to have 1 or 2 cups of water to make up for it, okay? Have a sip of my coffee. So we have that. Now, the other really big aspect is I want you to make sure that you're getting at least 25 grams of fiber a day. Fiber is going to come from whole foods, okay? So these are beans, these are vegetables, these are fruits. I don't want you to get your fiber from a high fiber cereal or a fiber one granola bar. And I'm sorry, but those are tasty. I get it, but they do not really have a lot of fiber in relation to how much sugar they have and how the carbohydrate source, the lack of protein, and some of them are higher in protein. But also fiber gummies. They can be good for travel, absolutely, but on a daily basis, I would encourage you to get fiber from whole foods because you're also getting prebiotics, which is really important for gut health here. Okay, so if we have your fiber, some of the highest fiber foods are found in beans. And if you find that beans are not sitting right with you, I want you to look up a seed soaking chart. And if you soak your beans ahead of time, you will start to notice that you can actually digest them more properly rather than just from the can, okay? So beans are fantastic. Again, carrots, broccoli, pears, quinoa, all of these whole foods. And you have to be doing this really as many times as you can during the day, having a big salad. That will hit you with your 25 grams of fiber, which is so important for heart health as well. that's a whole other topic. So we have water intake, we have fiber, and the other really big aspect in North America, especially that's missing, is going to be magnesium. If you've watched my content before, especially on Instagram, you know how much I emphasize magnesium, because magnesium has over 300 processes in the body. It is quite depleted in our soil today, unless you're working with a farmer who's adding in soil or adding in magnesium into the soil. Coffee and sugar also deplete it, and it's very, very important for sleep and hormone health, and chocolate craving specifically. If you get restless legs, if you get eye twitching as well, magnesium deficiency right there. So magnesium, I actually want to show you, I like drinking a magnesium drink in the summers here. This is from a brand called Natural Calm. They have not sponsored me. I personally love this and recommend this. They have different flavors. I also love a transdermal or topical magnesium lotion or a spray, especially if you have bowel issues, digestive issues. It's going to be so helpful if you can actually get a magnesium spray or lotion and put it on at night. Otherwise, of course, there are supplements. I want you to look at a magnesium biglycinate ideally, but if you have a magnesium citrate, that's going to be the best one to actually help you move the bowels as well. Okay, so I would love to recommend you then, we have water, we have fiber, and we have magnesium. Those are going to help you move your bowels. And if you're feeling stuck, prunes truly are a really good way to do it. Dried prunes, ideally, rather than prune juice. So that's going to be absolutely vital. You're going to start to notice your skin is starting to clear up. I used to get acne every single time I was about to have my period, and I no longer do. To be very transparent, I have had a little bit of acne lately because I have been drinking more. It's the summer, and in Calgary where I live, it's Stampede. Also, when I was on my China trip, I was having some wine, and I don't normally drink. And in the past few months, I have increased my intake a little bit, and I've noticed acne and liver and alcohol go hand in hand. Okay, so I am consciously working on increasing the intake of some of these foods, and it makes a huge difference. Now, we have talked about foods that are going to help with jawline and chin acne. What are the trigger foods for these kinds of issues? Well, we've talked about one of them already. Number one is alcohol. Alcohol is going to add a burden to your liver and your internal system. It is ultimately, people say it's a toxin. I do look at back, when alcohol was invented, and there's medicinal purposes that can come with it as well. Most people are not using it with medicinal purposes, of course, and there's not a lot of medicinal herbs involved. But alcohol can't in too much, and that's going to be, there's the recommended amounts, but for each individual, maybe once a week or less is right for you. But if you are in an environment where you do drink more, and that's your social life, that's your work life, well, then I want you to increase the foods that we've talked about and make sure you are really taking care of yourself there. The other foods that are going to harm the liver is going to be high fructose corn syrup, or just having a lot of sugar in general. We already talked about cystic acne, but foods like candies, usually that's high in high fructose corn syrup. I want you to start to look at the labels and see where is the sugar, and it has a bunch of different names. There's a lot of different names for sugar to confuse the consumer at times, and sometimes there's cheaper ways to create sugar. And so you'll find high sugar foods in a lot of bread, in a lot of sauces, dippings, in just literally everything. If you look at anything in a package, it's likely going to have sugar, even canned soups, box soups, things like this. And so too much sugar, and if you have acne, if you have cystic acne especially, you're probably having too much sugar there. And also, by the way, when it comes to alcohol, if you can switch to a very like vodka and tonic water, for example, if you can have less sugary beverages as well, it will help your case. Then the third groups of food that are going to really make an impact on your skin in a negative way is going to be refined oils and fats. So this is truly from fast food. It's going to be deep fried food. It's going to be fried food. Fried food will make your skin terrible. That's the reality, okay? And this is done consistently, but you'll start to notice if you have inflammation in the small intestine, you might notice inflammation along your nose. You will maybe notice some patchiness in your skin. You'll notice some red bumps. And of course, we can talk about acne or cystic acne on your back as well, but that's a whole other conversation. I wanted you to know the importance of hormonal acne and how to tell if it is hormonal acne, the 3 kinds of foods to focus on, as well as water intake, making sure you are mindful of bowel movements. And if you are not regular, I do want you to reach out to me because I do want you to feel good. The more people that feel good in the world, the better world we live in, the more present world we live in. And that is really what I'm here for. Okay. And the third tip was to look at the foods that are triggering the acne you're experiencing, and that's going to make a huge difference. If we look at supplements, what supplements can you take? Well, first of all, I want to make sure that you're actually doing all the food part of this because that is going to make the biggest difference. Also, and another thing you might consider, some people react poorly to dairy, especially milk. So if you drink dairy, or if you have dairy, you might find that yogurt is okay and cream is okay, especially heavy cream, but not milk. So that's also something to consider if you have acne along the chin, especially. Now, when it comes to supplements, a supplement I always recommend, other than magnesium, is going to be cod liver oil. Cod liver oil is also going to be high in omega-3s and vitamin D, and this is going to help boost your antioxidant power. So it's actually an anti-inflammatory. That's absolutely vital. Then we can look at evening primrose oil. That's something that I took when I had acne, and it was so, the difference in my skin was noticeable. I don't take it anymore. I don't feel that I need it right now, but that also made a huge difference on the hormone health journey as well. There's a lot of acne kind of supplements out there. I've had clients send me. I really don't think you need them unless you want to, and if you have the budget for it, fantastic. But it's really not necessary. There could be some ones for liver that you take with dandelion and artichoke. And if you are a current client, you're listening to this, you want to send me something that you've been looking at, let me know. But other than that, it's not always necessary. I do like a liver tincture that I take once in a while. It has burdock root, dandelion root, and all of that good stuff. I do prioritize liver health, and I really think that it's going to be coming more and more to the spotlight, hopefully, just because of all the pollution and the drugs that people are taking, like pharmaceutical drugs, the alcohol that's being drinking. Anyways, I digress. I hope that this has been helpful. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm so excited to see you again next week. I am live here on YouTube on Mondays. And if you're listening on the podcast, that will be released every Tuesday. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I cannot wait to see you again. Bye.